My name's McHugh, and I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Canadian Studies in 2003. When it came time to pick a program, it's tough to figure out what are you going to do, right? And I loved learning about Canadian history. I loved learning about Aboriginal studies and the arts. There was a Canadian Studies program, and I thought, wow, I get to learn all those areas: history, anthropology, French language, everything like that, with a Canadian Studies title to it. So it worked out right, and that's why I think university is great, is because your last year of high school, the last thing you want to do is math 30 and chemistry 30 and all these programs, and you're sort of tired with it, and all of a sudden, wow, you can go to university and study what you want to study. You can study about Canada and the Second World War. You can study about the fur trade, whatever it is, right? Whatever kind of interests you. You actually get to do an applied study or take the classes that are interesting to you, and it's way more easy to be successful at studying when there's something that you actually are interested in. It's funny coming back on the campus just today. You start thinking about that kind of stuff, and I'd say my friends. It's really hard. You never think of any one particular paper that you did, or one particular assignment that you did, or test that you did well on or not well on. And looking back at it, what are we now, 13 years later, it's your friends. All the people that you spent every day with, and the networks and connections and friends that you made, and just what they're doing all around the world. That's what I look back at, and just all the good times we had. Yeah, there's times when you feel overwhelmed, right? I think it's a good thing that the university has the GLUR, right? The liberal education requirement, but for me it was sciences. Right here I am. I wanted to do arts and history and poli-sci, and I had to take 4 science classes, and I thought, ugh. But you got to figure out what you want to do and how you want to do it. I took geography. I think I took 3 geography classes, which all counted, which I probably wouldn't have taken if it weren't for the GLUR, and I ended up loving, actually, and still always think about those classes. So when you're in the thick of it, you're getting challenged to take a class that's outside your comfort zone. Well, that's what university is all about, is doing that and trying to take those classes and trying to do something different. I remember at the end of high school being like, I'm tired of high school, right? And then, okay, you get into university, and it's, wow, this is great. As I said, you get to study what you want to study, and you love it. And then your 4th, 5th year, you're like, oh, I'm tired of university, I want to get a job, right? I think that's a natural thing, right? Everybody's always, I'm tired of this, I want to move on to the next thing. And in our generations, people will switch jobs, I don't know what is it now, 5, 8, 10 times, right? So there is that motivational structure, or struggle, but you gotta see the big picture, right? I mean, there's that one last exam you have to write, there's that one last paper you have to hand in, there's that one last event you have to go to, right? But you just got to do it and keep a positive attitude, and know that it's going to pay off to be something bigger. When you sit there trying to figure out an assignment, and you think that you're supposed to know the answer, but you don't know the answer. That's what university's for, right? Making mistakes, learning how to fix them. I think a lot of students don't go talk to their professors, and I think that's a huge thing to do. And that's one of the benefits I found at going to the U of L, was you could actually go and talk to your profs. You know what, I was in your class today, I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. You've got this assignment, I've never done one of these assignments, I have no idea how to put a paper together like this. And they'll sit down and they'll run you through it. And then I think that was my biggest challenge in my first year, was not approaching professors. And then all of a sudden, I got that advice from other students and people that were in the U of L, and they said, look, you got to go talk to your profs. And as soon as I did that, everything turned around. Because it's like, okay, I know what they want now and what they're looking for, and then you can deliver on that, and your grades change and your attitude changes, and it makes it a lot easier. Well, building community, I mean, I think that's one of the most important things you can do. That's why I'm sitting here today. I think the university community is a great community. I think the community of Lethbridge is a great community. Alberta, Canada, the world, right? Everybody's trying to do their part to help out. In Lethbridge, there's such an opportunity. It's such a great community to get involved with so many things, whether it be the arts or historical organizations, or the Army Reserves, or the University Alumni, right? There's lots of opportunities out there. You're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. I think everybody, all kinds of politicians and world leaders and successful business folks have said that, right? And it's the same thing in the professional world. I mean, you like to think that, okay, once you're a lawyer or an accountant or whatever you are, you know everything, but you don't, right? You're just as good as the tools you've been given, the knowledge that you have. A good buddy of mine at law school always called it positive reinforcement, right? Which is helping each other along. Everybody needs help in their lives, whether it be personally, professionally, or what have you. And I see that common thread a lot with people that want to help move the ball forward, as I say, and be involved in the community, and a certain aspect that a lawyer would bring to the table that an accountant brings, that somebody that's really fine-tuned into the arts would bring, somebody that's a business person would bring into it, somebody that's connected to a certain community, agricultural or university. And so everybody brings that expertise forward. And what you learn at university is being able to seek out those solutions or seek out the questions to ask to make things more efficient, to make things work better. And I think that's what it sets you up for. Just any degree will set you up for that, right? I mean, you're studying the theory and the big picture, the 30,000 foot level, and when you actually get doing your job, whatever it might be, then you know what to look for and what questions to ask and what the big picture is. Success to me is being happy and doing what you're doing and doing what you want to do. That's simple. Success is, waking up in the morning and looking forward to your day and wanting to do good things and knowing that you're doing a good job. So, being true to yourself and following the path that you want to follow and being happy doing it and doing a good job at it. That would be success for me. I guess the big thing is what I just stay true to yourself, right? Stay true to your goals and objectives and what you want to do. And that's really important, especially when you get out of university. I remember, I finished my undergrad. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to go over and do a master's degree in South Africa with Rotary. And then coming back from that experience, it's okay, what are we doing now, right? What am I going to do? And it's really easy to think, you need money, you need a job, you want to get started, but it's tough to stick it out and find a position in an area that you want to move forward in. And sometimes you got to be ready to pay your dues and start at the bottom and work your way up to the top, right? And work in different positions and volunteer, do different things to get that edge. I guess just sort of keep your feet moving, keep moving forward, keep your head up, and always look around for an opportunity. Volunteering, always looking for new experiences, right? Even though you're sure, I don't know if this is going to be good or not good, going for it and seeing what happens. A classic example for me at university was doing the Canadian Studies program. You had to have a certain amount of French credits, and I'm a product of Southern Alberta, and I grew up in Colehurst, 1,800 people. There wasn't much opportunity to learn French or speak French. I came here, I got into the French program. It was really hard to actually, you can't learn it when you're just learning it from a textbook and not able to speak it. And went down to the Career Resource Center, and there was the French language program, the bursary for 5 weeks, which is now called Explore. And I thought, what the heck, let's go for it, right? And I showed up in Chicoutimi, Quebec. I didn't know really how to say hot or cold. I knew, very broken French, English, how to say my name a little bit. But it was one of the best 5 weeks I've ever had in my life. And I think it is an excellent program. And I actually, when I returned, decided to sign up and go back for 4 months and complete even more French credits than I needed to. But it was how I finished my degree off, was in Chicoutimi, Quebec, doing all these French programs. And I actually got my French up to a level where I was considered, a B level by the government, and it led me to go work for the United Nations, led me to go to France, led me to go to McGill, led me to work at the Juno Beach Center, which was one of the highlights of anything I've ever done in my life. So taking that little step back in university to do the 5-week program led really to me, working in Africa, getting a law degree, and working at the Juno Beach Center. It opened a huge door. I'm a lawyer here in town, and when I first went into law, one of the reasons was, one of the things I like about living in Lethbridge is the opportunity to be involved in the community. When you first start articling and practicing law, you're very general, you do everything. And Now I'm sort of a little more focused in the area of law that I want to practice, which is corporate commercial, so helping people start businesses, which is interesting because you get people with a really good attitude that are trying to do good things, and it's interesting, and you want to help them and see them succeed. I also do like real estate, so corporate and commercial real estate and residential real estate. So again, you're helping people that are wanting to buy or sell a house or buy or sell a business, and it's good to be part of that and helping those folks out. And then I do wills and estates, which is helping people plan for the future, right? So I like helping people look into the future and make sure that they don't get themselves into trouble. Being very honest with yourself really is the number one thing. You wake up in the morning and you're like, do I want to be doing this or not want to be doing this? No matter what profession it is, making sure that you set yourself up for the success that you want to see. Use the resources that are here at the university. I finished up my master's degree in South Africa. I'd come back to Lethbridge. I was trying to figure out what the next move was, and Pat Tanaka from the Career Resource Center called me and said, Matt, we just got this thing faxed in. There's an opportunity to go work with the United Nations over in Africa. You had talked to me years ago about being interested in this kind of work. I thought of you right away. I thought I'd call and give you the website, and I plugged in the website and applied, and again, 5 months later, I was on my way to Cameroon in Africa, and then I was there for a year and a half. And while you're there, you meet different people. Again, it's not just university. You got to throw yourself out there to meet folks and get involved in different things. And I was doing that over there. And those guys, a lot of them were lawyers, and a lot of them were involved in the military. And so I thought, oh, that's interesting. And so when I came back to Canada, I went to law school and joined the military. Those things have led to other opportunities. Just be open to new ideas, and do your best to follow through with them. Seek out different opportunities, right? Do the applied studies program. Go on exchange. That would probably be a really big piece of advice I have for people. Learn another language. That was a piece of advice I got. Learn another language. Doesn't matter what it is, if it's French or Spanish, Blackfoot. When you learn another language, it makes you think differently. It really does, and it makes you think in a different way, and it opens up opportunities that you never thought you'd have. Don't be in a rush. That's a great piece of advice. Don't be in a rush to get out of school. You got your whole life to work, right? Of course, my parents and my friends and everybody will make fun of me for saying that, rightfully so, but no, I mean, get involved. When I was on the Students' Union, you could only take 2 classes a semester, and that's fine. It slowed me down for a year. But my Students' Union experience was probably the most educational experience I had at the U of L. There's all the coursework and classwork, which is great and which is important, but then there's all the life skills that you're learning, and meeting different people and interacting with different people that you wouldn't have the opportunity to act with all the time. The university, a campus, is just that, right? Brings all these people together. It's not like that everywhere in the world. So enjoy it while you're here on campus, and try to learn as much as possible. Imagination is more important than knowledge, and that's Albert Einstein. There's another favorite quote I have, which is actually from Men in Black, which is Will Smith, and forgive me because I'm just thinking of it right now, but it's right after, who's the other guy? Tommy Lee Douglas?
Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones
Yeah.
is talking with Will Smith after he's just told him that there's aliens, right? And he goes, 1,500 years ago, everybody knew that the world was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everybody knew that the world was flat. And 15 minutes ago, you knew that humans were alone on this planet, right? And that ties into that imagination is more important than knowledge. Everybody knew before the Wright brothers learned how to fly that humans were never meant to fly, and humans couldn't fly. And there's a lot of people out there that had the imagination to figure out a way to get people to fly. And now we just all take it for granted that we can zip around the world. Yeah, we all know everything right now, but it's the people that can see the future or look into the future, or have an imagination to make it a better future, that, if you can imagine that, then everything sort of follows along, right? I guess the biggest insight would be, life's a journey. Right when you finish your undergrad, you think that you're gonna do one set profession, and you might, right after undergrad, realize that and go do that work. But that's gonna change. and then you're probably going to want to go back to school, and you'll get a master's, and then that'll set you up for something different, and then you'll go and you'll do some work, and that'll change, and then you'll go off and, like me, and go to law school, and get some work, and who knows, maybe that'll change. Don't think that once you learn something or once you get a job that that's it forever, because it will change. I know people that are in their 70s and 80s that are changing their careers, and they're not, they might be retired, but they're still volunteering and going overseas, and whether it be teaching English or helping out in a community in Africa, they're still doing things, right? So don't think for a second that it all just happens once and that's it. Like, keep your mind open, keep moving forward, and there's a lot of different opportunities out there, and people can have a lot of fun with life. Have fun. That's what we're here for.